This is Sports 225 with Lee Feinswag.
Lee Feinswag, look at the kiss.
Sports 225 is brought to you by Brett. Remember, it all starts at Brett. Now, your host, Lee Feinswag.
Good evening. We've talked about this guy and his basketball team so much this season that we figured, heck, we better get him on before the playoffs start. He's Joe Spencer, the coach at University High, who has a pretty good boys basketball team. Later on in the show, Hunt Palmer and Jordy Collada will talk about the rest of prep basketball, although they'll probably touch on U-High. And then WAFB's Jacques Doucet will join me, and we'll chit-chat about all sorts of things. But first up, Joe Spencer making his Sports 225 debut. Big day for you.
Great day.
You've had a pretty good season, and correct me if I'm wrong, started out gangbusters, hit a little midseason slide, and then finished up the regular season pretty strong.
Yeah, I mean, we had a tough schedule this year. Played in some really good tournaments. Lost a championship game to Scotlandville, who's pretty good.
Yeah.
Played in the Sugar Bowl Classic down in New Orleans. Lost to Riverside. Team was pretty good. Lost by 3. Then we got into district. We took a couple losses. Went to Riverside. They were on fire. Lost a tough game over there. But yeah, we lost a few games in district. But hopefully now we've kind of righted the ship, and we never panicked. I think people kind of started to judge us a little bit, saying maybe not as good as they thought they were going to be or whatnot. But we didn't expect to go undefeated. Last year we were 31-3. And we knew we needed a tougher schedule. We moved up to 3A from 2A, so we were going to have to make the schedule tougher, and that's kind of what we did, and we didn't expect to go undefeated. We're hoping that schedule gets us ready for district in the playoffs, so now it's time to see if that's going to come to fruition. Hopefully it will.
Friday you open with Caldwell Parish?
Caldwell Parish, 6 o'clock on Friday, yep.
At home?
At home.
In a beautiful gym. U-High's got a beautiful gym. Joe is a native of Indiana, so anybody knows Indiana basketball. And then you went to Christian Brothers University in Memphis. Mm-hmm. And stop me if you've ever heard this story. Boy meets girl, girl from Louisiana. Boy ends up in Louisiana forever, right? And there you go.
That's how it worked.
That's it.
Yep.
And I think I'm right about this. First head coaching job in Louisiana was Live Oak?
Live Oak,
yeah.
Live Oak.
And that was an outpost. Sorry, all you people out in Live Oak, but you got things going there before the U-High job opened up.
Yeah, I was at Live Oak for a couple years, and then we moved to Texas for a year, got back in town, went over to Runnels, which was a great experience. Really got things going at Runnels, was able to make the top 28. Great kids over there, great school, and then was fortunate enough to get the U-High job about 6 years ago.
Yeah. Indiana basketball, if you've ever been to Indiana and seen high school basketball, I mean, if you haven't watched Hoosiers and just know about how fervent it all is there, and we have this perception that Indiana basketball is this, man-to-man defense, motion offense. Everybody knows how to use the backboard. It's perfect basketball, and of course, that's not the case. I mean, but what are the differences between Indiana high school basketball and Louisiana high school basketball?
Well, when I was growing up, it was man-to-man defense, motion offense was all, everything predicated off of Indiana and Coach Bob Knight. But to me now, the game is just so much more athletic. The athleticism is unbelievable. We've got kids on our team that can do things that we never did on my team. We had a pretty good high school team, but to me, the speed of the game and the athleticism has increased a great deal in the past, 20 or 30 years.
Yeah. When you were growing up, did you ever get to go to Indiana basketball? And did you ever meet Coach Knight?
I never was able to go to an Indiana game while he was at Indiana. Now, when he was at Texas Tech, actually Kelly arranged for us to go out there, and we got to sit in on a practice.
No kidding.
She gave him a little gift. So then he's like, why don't y'all come out and watch some film? So we watched some game film. Went to dinner with him and his wife. I mean, it was just
really.
Yeah, it was a great experience, great story. Quite a few little side stories in that trip, but it was a great experience. And I asked Kelly, I was like, is this some kind of Make-A-Wish thing? Is everything okay here? She assured me it was, but it was a fantastic trip.
That's good. The only time I ever actually met him, and believe me, this is a really long story. I'll keep short. I was in Kansas City, and I was doing interviews for the book Hoop Daddy about father sons in basketball. At the time, his son was coaching with him at Texas Tech, Pat Knight, who just got fired recently at Lamar. And as I approached Knight in this hotel in Kansas City, I ended up getting what's called a thunderclap headache. You can look it up. And it came up the back of my neck and into my head. And it was so bad, I had to sit down. I sweated profusely. I ended up in the hospital next door to this hotel. And ultimately went home and lived the next day. It was really bad. I mean, it was a headache beyond belief. And, from whatever people tell me about migraines, it sounded like it, from my description, it seemed like it was worse. And anyway, I never did get to interview him. And his PR guy sent me a note months later saying, no, he wouldn't interview for the book. So he wasn't in Hoop Daddy, so there. Anyway, who's been the most influential coaches on you?
Honestly, probably Bob Knight, Coach Charlie Leonard, who I played for at CBU, now assistant coach at LSU.
I didn't realize the connection. I forgot about Charlie Leonard on the staff at LSU, a great guy and a great coach. I forgot the connection there. That's right.
Yeah, so those two probably more than anything. Of course, my high school coaches, and then you try to take the good and the bad. I've mostly had great coaches, so it's been that's been very beneficial. But probably Coach Leonard is a huge influence on me.
All right, I want to talk about your U-High basketball team because it's very interesting. A lot of LSU lineage on that team, and a lot of talent, and a team that can get up and down. And your team can do some stuff that a lot of high school teams can't. Yeah,
Definitely.
All right, Joe Spencer, he's the coach at University High on the campus of LSU. He's got a pretty good basketball team, and like I joked, we talked about him and his team so damn much this season. We said we better get him on the show. Later on, Jacques Doucet and, of course, Hunt and Jordy doing preps. I'm Lee Feinswag. You're watching Sports 225.